Welcome back to the world's worst fishing, everybody. And so some exciting shop news. So yesterday, my father and I and my wife, so all three of us, did a garage overhaul. Okay, you know, I spend so much time out here in the fish cave making baits, trying to film content for all of you, the channel, and it can get a little messy at times. So we decided to do, like I said, a complete garage clean out overhaul, and we put up some new shelving units and rearranged my shop a little bit. So here is the whole thing. So these shelves on this wall are completely new. So we just kind of have some odds and ends up there, including some of my bait supplies. So like my bubble mailers that I send out my baits in are up there. Got the Mondo injector chilling over there. Some silicone, just some odds and ends. But I'm really happy to have two shelving units now. I was only rocking this one shelving unit. Now I have this one. And so it just kind of gets things off the floor. It gets things, you know, up where they're easily accessible. And there's just some things happening that weren't happening before. So a little bit more organization. This shelf in particular, you know, this is an important shelf. It has, you know, the drawers for all of my eyeballs. Got my Jetson Eyes notebook there. You know, color shifts and hypershifts. That's all, you know, hypershift and color shift, high-end stuff. There's some more specialty pearls. I have some paints and some other things up there. And then, you know, mold collection stuff. And then my little kind of table, you know, the plastic stays down there below it. So I just have some odds and ends here. Just a few things going on. But yeah, kind of a new shop, a nice clean garage to work out of. So there is the whole thing. Okay, everybody, so welcome back again. And in today's video, we're going to be showing you a fun little trick that you can do to kind of get the most vivid effect out of your Hypershift pearl pigments. Now you can do this with regular pearl pigments. It doesn't have to be any of the color shift or Hypershift stuff, but if I'm gonna go to the trouble to do this, it's usually with those high-end pigments. So none of the techniques today are necessarily new. If you've been watching my channel for a while, we've definitely covered this, just kind of here and there. So it's going to incorporate capsuling and dusting. That's it. We're going to capsule our molds, okay? And then we're going to dust, which is to say paint with a paintbrush. But instead of painting with paint, of course, we're painting with powder. So it's dusty, just dusting. So we're going to dust with these color shift pigments inside our molds. And it just, the effect is just mind-blowing. If you were just to take the pigment themselves and mix it into the plastic and pour the exact same bait, it would look super cool. It just wouldn't have this particular effect. This has a little bit more vivid effect to it. So that's enough jibber jabber. We're gonna go jump in, and we'll meet you back whenever we have our plastisol mixed out, and we'll be ready to rock. Okay, so we transferred out some of that tube blend into a smaller cup because I only need just a little portion of that for the actual capsules. And I like to add a little bit of flake just for texture to the capsule. That way it's just not just a solid clear bait that has, you know, not really nothing to add texture to it. So just a little bit of this black square cut flake, and this will only appear in the capsuled portion, which we're about to pour. So you'll kind of see how this takes effect once we actually start pouring it. So again, just going to mix that in like that. Maybe bring it this way a smidge. Yeah. Alright. That's that. So we'll take that over here. And there it is. Just craw tube blend. Nothing else in it but some flake. And again, a capsule is a form of a skin pour, but it encapsulates the whole thing. So there's many types of skin pouring. You've seen me pour layered patterns, you know, multiple layer patterns, skin pouring. This is literally just start right there in the tail section, pour enough in there that we can basically cover top to bottom the whole mold. Just like that. There's kind of a little bit of it everywhere. And you can see it adds a nice flake look to it from top to bottom. So I don't really have to worry about cold pouring this for flake suspension. My flake suspension is already done in the capsule. So just a little trick there. If you're making a color and you want flake to be suspended up and down the mold, you can just capsule your flake beforehand and have all the flake suspension that you want. You don't have to cold pour. Certain things I like to cold pour, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. And like most capsuling, this is our canvas. We are then going to take our powders and essentially brush it in. So that's pretty much all we're doing. Okay, so I have the 6-inchers capsuled, and now I'm just going to show you real quick one of the 4-inchers. Got to be a little bit more careful here, but again, it's just the same exact principle. Just pour some in there, let it run around, and fill up that part of the cavity. And I mixed a little bit of new plastic in so that there's a little bit less flake. So if you look at the two, you know, there's just a little bit more flake concentration there. But anyway, that's what the 4-inch version is going to look like. And we're going to keep moving on. And I'll meet you back whenever they are all capsuled out. We'll take a look and then we'll start the dusting. Alright, and here we go. So we have all of the 4-inchers capsuled out. And of course our 6-inchers from earlier. So here comes what I would consider is the fun part. I actually really quite enjoy this. And one of the things that I have found is I like to kind of do it two-tone. Now you can add as many different effects in here as you want. But for example, I like to brush the head portion a different color than the rest of the body. Okay, and then I like to pour the top. So the top layer that's going to ultimately fill in the tail portion, I also like to pour a different color. Now that's actually a poured color that's mixed in, not a brushed color. But as far as the brushing, I like to brush the head one color and the body another color. And a little bit about what type of color shifts to use. I like these two or any sort of these sort of color shift pearls right here that don't actually color the plastic. So for example, this one right here, that actually colors plastic. You put these in, it doesn't necessarily color the plastic, you just see the effect of the actual powder itself. I like to brush with these a lot because the bait still remains clear, but you can see the effect. Alright, little cheap paintbrush and some ZGA. So, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. So, we're just going to take some of it, and look at that effect already. We're just going to brush it in, and we're just going to kind of brush it along with that little gill plate pattern that this mold has, okay? Really get it in there. And the reason why I like a capsule is because the effect is so much better when you brush it onto capsuled plastic than just brushing it onto the actual mold itself. So, look at that already. That's how that's going to look from the outside. So again, we're just doing the heads in that color. Actually, I need to get more pigment on the brush. Give me 1 second. And I'm literally just dipping it into the bag. I'm not mixing this out into any sort of container first or anything like that. There's really no need. You know, I would suggest you cut off your fans for this portion, or else it'll just blow this stuff all over your shop. And you'll be breathing in powders from now until the end of time. So anyway, yeah, look at that. That stuff's just incredible. And then of course, you know, this little fin structure right here, you could then brush that and something else. You know, just however however detailed you want to make it. You know, there again, like I said, expand on this idea. You don't have to do it or anything that you see on this channel exactly the way that I do it. You know, I'm just kind of showing you guys, you know, as I learn new things and as I grow and my techniques and understanding of baits evolves, you know, I'm just kind of filming it as we go, you know, and you can take whatever you see here and take it to the next level. That's my hope. So, you know, I'm just trying to soak in as much knowledge as I can and be able to spit it back out on camera. So, having a fun time doing it. And guys, we just hit 49,000 subs. So we are fast approaching 50. So hopefully we will get there soon. But anyway, that's what we're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and finish these up and then show you the 4-inchers. Alright, so let's grab one of these little 4-inchers here. Kind of get it there for y'all to see. And again, just the same thing. Just right up there in that head portion. Just going to paint it in there. Same as the 6-incher. Look at that. It's hard to believe that's just one pigment. Alright, and now it's time for Alien Pearl. So, same thing. Just going to kind of dab the brush in the bag and get with the program. Oh, beautiful. Alright. This one, so this Alien Pearl, I tell you, it's sneaky. It plays tricks on you because it doesn't look like it's doing much in the mold, even in person right now. I'm looking at it, I'm like, where is it? Like, it's so invisible that sometimes you don't even know if you painted the whole mold with it. But trust me, it's there. So, that is what it looks like. Again, a little hard to see, but when we pull the molds out, when they're done, it's pretty obvious that it's there. So, yeah, this stuff is truly like space age pigment here. This is alien technology. It's literally called Alien Pearl. It's like advanced cloaking pigment technology. And we're just continuing to paint our Alien Pearl. You can kind of see it okay from that angle. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. You definitely want to go liberal on it. Don't spare it. Want to apply it very, 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 very thick. Because believe me, you want as much of this effect as you can get. Look at that. So, just continuing on here, we're almost done with the 6-inchers. In fact, this is the last mold right here. And one thing I'll say about the capsules, so whenever you're pouring your capsules, you know, the plastic is cooling very rapidly as it's flowing over the surface of that mold. You know, you're pouring a thin layer of plastic and you're letting it cover a large portion of the mold. So that plastic's cooling very rapidly. So you'll see that capsule isn't 100% even. See that line there? That actually creates a really cool effect in the finished product. So if you're not pouring perfectly flat, even capsules, just know that can actually look pretty cool in the end product. Alright, so we're just going to pour these bottoms in clear, just straight plastic. No color in it whatsoever. And we're going to pour it a little high because remember, we're not doing a 3-color laminate here with a vein. We're only doing a bottom color and top color. So I want to try to pour that bottom color up as high as I can. Perfect. So you can see I went a little bit above the hook slot as to where normally I would pour it just to the top of that hook slot. And so that's how I like to pour these AI molds whenever I'm just doing a 2-color layer. Most of the time I throw that 3rd vein layer in there just to kind of give it some more character. But sometimes I'm not. So whenever I'm pouring just 2 colors, I do it this way. And that seems to work out. So, alright, there we go. And last but not least, this one over yonder. Alrighty, so I'm just going to take the remainder of that plastic that we just used for the bellies and add a little bit of ZTP Hypershift to it. This should be enough to fill in those tops, hopefully. It's only 4 molds, so we shall see. So yeah, I definitely like pouring this look with a top color. That way the tail portion that you did not dust and capsule isn't just a straight clear tail. You know, this way the bait just looks a little bit more finished. Okay, I decided to go ahead and throw the 4 inchers on there. Those are already poured, so I scooted those to the side. I get the best pour when my molds are right there in the middle. That's like the most even part of my griddle. So for example, getting tongue-tied, if I was to pour these over here, the plastic would want to kind of run up into the head more, and on this side it would run up into the tail more, and I wouldn't get that even perfect pour, but right there in the center I do. So I'm at least on this cheap griddle, I'm a little limited on space. I would like to be able to just load the entire griddle up and get good quality pours, but I kind of have to use the center. So we're about to pour these up, and we'll meet you back. Alright, so we have some more craw tube blend mixed up, and we're going to pour the bottoms here. Okay, voila, just like that. Everything is ready to go. And again, we're going to do the spit test to see if the molds are hot enough. Oh yeah, boiling off. So that means that we're pretty much there. So these molds are so hot, they are boiling water. So you can imagine that plastic is going to stay melted on the inside of that mold. It's going to bond those layers. It's going to wipe out any cold cracks. So we're going to cut the griddle off and let these bad boys cool down. Alright, so the 4 inchers are ready. So join me in a drum roll, please. Alright, eeny, meeny, miny, you know what, we'll just go with this one. See how she did. I actually water cured these molds, which is to say I put them in some cold water. Look at that. Look at the effect. So for those of you who saw my Jets and Lures video where I visited Jets and Lure Eyes, this exact bait was featured in that video as one of the examples. So I mean, just look at how vivid it is. Pretty sweet. So let's set that one down and check out the rest of them here. They should be pretty much identical. Oh yeah. See, and you see that line? That's kind of from the unevenness of the capsules. Now, if you don't want that and you want to pour a perfectly even capsule, this is really important. Preheat your molds and then pour your capsules on warm molds or hot molds. And then the plastic will absolutely flow across that surface evenly and you won't get those crazy effects. I kind of think it looks kind of cool just the way it sort of breaks up. So you can see those both sort of have that. It's almost like a lateral line in a way. So it's actually a positive effect from pouring a sloppy capsule. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind. That one kind of has one too. Super cool. And when you see it in person, it has a real kind of 3D sort of kind of illusion to it. You're like, oh, where did the color go? What's happening? And then you turn it and the color's in there. So if you look at it this way, it looks like there's sort of a gap Well, that's just because you're looking at it from the wrong angle. You turn it there, all of a sudden you can see that it actually is in there. So really cool. And last but not least, wanted to take the tail with it. You can see that I kind of consistently poured a sloppy capsule. They kind of all did it. I'll be curious to see if they did it from the other side. But yeah, those are the 4-inchers right there. Excuse me, the 6-inchers. Jeez, people. Okay, time for the 4-inchers. Let's go. Start over here, top left. Just like we're reading a page. Oh, it wants to come out upside down. Okay, okay, you do you. You can come out upside down. Oh my gosh. Look at that. There it is. Alright, so now that one's going to be backwards. Way to go. Let's do this one next. Thank you for coming out the right way. Look at that. Golly. It's just too much. Alright. Next up. Yes, sir. Is that not just wicked? Like, there are just so many ways to play with these molds, and you know, just with a little bit of patience, the things that you can do with this open pouring are just next level. Especially with some of these space alien pigments. Alright, and last but not least. Beautiful. Let's just kind of get a little close up there. It's pretty magical. No doubt about it. So let's see, I'm going to need some 6mm for the little ones, and I'm thinking that those ice eyes are going to look nice. It's just a nice silver hologram. And I also need some 10mm. This kind of is in the way. We will use, I guess we'll use the same thing. I guess we'll also use some fish skull ice. So yeah, that's what it really looks like there. So I've got that in both these sizes, and I think we're ready to go. Okay, so there they all are. Yeah, you can really see the effect there really good, I think. And yeah, there's so many cool ways to use this color shift, and this is absolutely one of my favorites. Such a cool effect. So yeah, let's get out another one here. And just anytime you capsule and brush something under the capsule, it just always has this awesome 3D layered effect, which is why we capsule in the first place. But then you throw in the added illusion of color shift in with that capsule effect, and it's almost just too much for the human mind to even comprehend. It is really something. And it has that just sort of iridescent shine that a lot of bait fish naturally have in nature. You look at the scales of a shad, if you look at the scales of a pilchard, you know, in salt water, that just every color in the rainbow is shining through their scales, and you can really achieve that look with this technique right here. I mean, just check it out. Super cool. So hope you guys have enjoyed a cool little technique. And here it is, not under direct light. So this is just the lighting in my garage, and to me you can actually see it better. So just funny how different lighting allows for you to see different nuances of colors, especially these tricky color shifts. You know, this is so hard to film sometimes because you're trying to capture the effect, and you know, the camera lens can't always pick it up, at least not mine. I don't have a cheap camera, but it's not expensive, by camera standards, and certainly my lens isn't anything special, but it gets the job done in most cases. But yeah, just look at the colors there. And there again, you can do this with any of the Hypershifts, with any color shifts, or with regular pigments, and you know, take it as far as you want. You know, you can do as many different colors in as many different areas to get whatever effect you want. You can highlight the fins, you can highlight just around the eyes, you know, you can do something right around the pupil. So there's a lot of things you can do. This is just one of them. All right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the little color shift dusting video today. Shoot me lots of comments down below. Let me know what you think, of course. I'm always curious to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on what we do here. And you know, again, if you're a bait maker at home who's tried this method before, you know, I would love to hear about your experience with it. So again, shoot me some comments. You can DM me on Instagram, send me pictures of your work. I get pictures all the time from bait makers from my audience, and it's always awesome to see what you guys can come up with and how y'all can expand maybe on some ideas that you've seen here or seen elsewhere. So you know, I certainly can't cover all techniques and ideas. You know, we're trying to build a catalog of content here that covers everything that I can conceive, but you know, of course, one man can't do it all. But in any event, we're going to sign off. I think I'm going to spend a little time making some more normal stuff, so that'll be fun. But thanks again for being here, taking time out of your day to watch this video. Shoot me lots of comments below, of course, and we'll catch you next time on the World's Worst Fishing.